fun. It's Britain's Got Talent.
I've forgotten all about this already.
Britain's Got Talent bowed out with its lowest audience for a final in the show's 10-year history.
Although
And
it's
I
9
can
years.
imagine why, because those semi-finals were so dire. Those audition shows are so loved in a way is because they're so well edited, and when you don't have that editing, when you're having to sit and watch these acts live, it's a bit dull. It's not going at a quite a steady, quite a good pace for most of that.
And
there's
also,
always music, there's always flicking past. You rarely get times where you concentrate on one act.
They shot themselves in the foot a lot of the times, because there were acts on some shows that weren't worthy of getting through at all, and there were like 4 acts on another one that you could have seen getting through. So
and I think they got rid of some of the good acts. I really like that the Mimic Men, and I know that would have meant there was 3 impressionist acts on, but then there was how many singing children does one person need to see in a week?
Yeah.
And I didn't rate that. Was it Wayne Woodward who came second?
No, at all. How did he come second?
To me now, it's personality first and ability second. Certainly in terms of the singers. If he wasn't this sort of Cockney, geezer, there's no way he would have been second. Yeah, Danny Dyer, sort of and then he's got an okay lounge singer voice.
You weren't freaked out by the mother and son singers, or the ballet act.
I liked Shannon and Peter's first audition.
Oh,
I did like them. He creeps me out. I agree. He's got creepy eyes that follow you around the room. I will.
Yeah, and his kids are there waving like they walk into them doing that every Saturday.
And I am a bit gutted as well that the guy who sung the song about the number 19 bus didn't get through to the semi-finals.
But he would have needed the whole 90 minutes.
The reason they choose a lot of the acts they choose is because they're the ones that have resonated with the public, and they know a lot of people will pick up the phone for say the mother and son act, and I don't know who was voting for them blooming stormtroopers though.
I remember in recent years saying I enjoyed the semi-final week more than
No, not this year.
And
they put through Davros, they put through that polar bear, they put some of those acts.
All I've learnt now over the 9 years it's been on, not the 10.
Yeah, it's its 10th year. This is its 10th year. It's the start of its 10th year.
Technically, yes, I'll allow that.
Yeah. That's what they're saying. It's not their 10th anniversary. That is next year. And me and you have been very vocal about this on Twitter. That it is its 10th year. Your 9th birthday is the start of your 10th year, but it's not your 10th anniversary.
I know, I don't know why it bothers me, but it really does.
No, it bothers me as well. We've talked about this already. But I have to say, I did like Richard Jones, the magician who won it. I liked his audition. I liked his semi-final performance. But I felt his final performance was very pandering. And I think what it was the fact that he thought, well, no magician has ever got through before by performing like a decent trick. Like a few years ago, that bloke set himself on fire and
that wasn't enough.
And last year it was like a magician came second, didn't he?
It's like, what have I got to do? I set myself on fire.
So I know I'll just do this very patriotic thing about this guy who was captured during the war, and just do like a little card trick, and that won it in the end. Whereas didn't
that group who were shadow people, they did a whole British thing in the final, and they won that.
I think it is very much.
You do have to remember that the Queen is going to see the final act.
But the voting is very much done by Nans. The best act at the final was in fact the act that was made up of all the old acts who'd already won it. I thought that was the best thing on the final was this group.
The only thing that made me smile.
Yeah, like Diversity, Ashley and Pudsey, George Sampson, Old Men Grooving, the Drummer Boy, Attraction, as Gary mentioned, they were there. Stavros Flatley.
Spellbound.
But one question I had is, where was Jai McDowell in all this?
I know, not even mentioned.
No one from that 2011 series, or no one from as you said, Paul Potts. I think he's touring. I think they mentioned that they had someone from every year apart from that Michael McIntyre year that everyone's forgotten.